Good morning, welcome to another video. Hope you're well. Catch up with me today next to the Avon, as you can see. Now there's a few reasons I've come out this morning, which I'll touch on. The first few are conditions and weather-wise. As you can probably see from the river, there's barely a breath of wind today. We've got very overcast sky as well. If I show you up there, it's heavily overcast, which is again a good sign for fishing. There's a bit of water gone in the river as well, although it rained a bit yesterday and it wasn't very warm, so it may have chilled the water, but that may have put the fish off. Who knows? There's only one way to find out, isn't there? Now the other reason is that if you follow the dates on the videos, this being my video diary, you haven't seen me for a good week now. Now, I think the last time you saw me, I mentioned I was going to the Y. Now, I did go to the Y on Saturday, and I'll touch on the reason you've not seen that shortly. But for now, we're going to fish across to this willow here. I've come out very near to home, again, for the reasons I'll touch on shortly. But I'm just going to fish maggots on the waggler. We're going to keep sprinkling these in. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning now. We're just going to fish the maggot on the waggler over there next to that tree, hopefully catch some nice chub and hopefully catch some nice perch. So just while we're baiting up, I'll run you through why you haven't seen me for a while and why you didn't see me down on the Y. So on last Saturday, I went to the Y with my friend Tony. Everything was fine, got there, started fishing. It was fairly quiet. It was on a club stretch. There was couple of 3, 4 in the end, other anglers there. It was fairly hard going, to be honest. Tony had a chub. I wasn't doing much good at all. I was fishing upstream of him, so I went for a move, moved swims, tried a different swim, had a few knocks. There wasn't a lot going on there. Moved back again. Thought I'd do a little bit of trotting. Did a little bit, had a couple of nice days, trotting maggots. I was catching loads of small dace as well. So anyway, by about lunchtime, I felt a bit funny in the morning. By about lunchtime, I started to feel a little bit rough. Not sure exactly why, just felt a bit funny. I was occasionally going a bit sweaty and just feeling a bit strange, really. So much so that I actually stopped fishing. I just got to the point where I just didn't want to fish anymore. Just sat and watched Tony for about an hour and a half. Tony had a chub and a barbel, fairly small barbel. But by about, I don't know, early afternoon, I just had enough. I just wanted to go home. I didn't feel great at all. Got home. I still didn't feel great, but I wasn't feeling too bad. However, woke up the next morning, felt a bit dizzy, and, well, without going into too much detail, spent the next 36, 48 hours with the most horrendous amount of vomiting I've ever experienced. As I say, I won't go into too much detail, but basically, I was vomiting from both ends, let's put it like that. It wasn't good at all. Yeah, for about 40 hours, felt terrible with it. And that sort of eased a couple of days ago. Felt a little bit better yesterday. I feel a little bit better again today. Probably, don't tell anyone, I probably shouldn't be out today. But I've come out really because I want some fresh air, although, don't have to go fishing to get fresh air. But I've not been doing much either, really, the last few days for obvious reasons. And just not sleeping very well. So I need to do something. I feel well enough to go out for perhaps a couple of hours. We'll do some light exercise, as in casting over to me. And we'll see how we get on. I still feel a little bit green around the gills, but I'm definitely on the mend, and I've just about got enough energy to do this. So we'll have a little go, with conditions being absolutely perfect. It's due to rain again tomorrow. I'd have perhaps left it till tomorrow, but it's just cracking today. It's just cock on. It's a little bit chilly. I'll perhaps go and get my woolly hat and put that on But yeah, we'll have a go. Anyway, that's probably enough waffle, isn't it? So we'll crack on. I've got my Advanta power float with me, just for the purposes of stopping any chub or decent perch, who I always forget how hard they fight. Any chub or decent perch trying to get back into that tree, should we catch any. I've got Dow 125 on there. I love a close pace reel for float fishing, just makes things so easy. And I think what I'm going to do today, I've shot it up from what I remember. If my memory's serving me right, I'm shot it up for one of these little, I say little, Spessy Wagglers. Dave Harrell Spessy Wagglers. So I think we'll go on one of those today. I think the key is going to be to keep these maggots going in. I've got a load of maggots to use up as well. That's another reason for coming. I do want to get out on the mashed bread, to be honest, but this swim certainly. I've not thought of a method to deliver mashed bread over to there, apart from spod or a spom so far, and I'm not going to do that because that'll be counterproductive, I think. As I say, we're nice and close to home, so when I start flaking, I haven't got to go very far home. I'm only, I don't know, a few hundred metres from home, 300 metres. And if we do have any relapses, again, I can get home very quickly, should I need to. But like I say, I shan't regale you with the details. I'm sure you can use your imagination, but suffice to say, it was the worst episode of double-ended sickness I've ever experienced. It's horrendous, but I know there's a bit of it going around, so yeah, I think it's just a bug. Right, I think that's enough of that. We'll get this set up properly, and we'll get the landing net set up and we'll crack on. Like I say, I'm not sure really how long I'm going to last today, but we'll have a go. And if it's no good, we can go home, can't we? Be nice and easy to see that float as well. I think perhaps I could shut it down a bit more than that. You had a bite already, look. Certainly some fish around. God. Oh, someone wants me. There we go, we're in already, look. What we got. I'm not sure whether to bother putting the keep net in or not today. Well, had a little chublet already. First cast. Perhaps we'll put the keep net in. So it looks like we're going to have a few fish, which is good. Hopefully we can get through to some bigger ones. I fished here a few weeks ago, again another video I didn't make into a video. I fished here a couple of weekends ago with my mate Mick. I didn't make it into a video purely because, to be honest, not a lot happened. Mick had a nice chub, as you can see here. But aside from that, it was loads of fish, loads of bits and pieces fish, rather than anything decent. There's lots and lots of fish around, certainly. But the trouble is, fishing maggot, you don't tend to single out the bigger fish. Right downstream. Oh, pike's just had a go at that. And again, we got a pike on. Ugh. Well, I thought we should have bought the pike rod. I doubt he's going to bite me off. Not very big. I don't know if you can see him down there. He's just grabbed what I was winding in. A little dace, I think, or a little roach or something. There we go, little roach. Oh, I got him back. Slightly worse for his ordeal. He's not in a good way at all. I'll chuck him straight back. He might live. He might not. He might get got by that pike, unfortunately. Sorry, Mr. Roach. Well, we're getting some bites. We're having some excitement. Hopefully we can catch a few nice fish. But if not, at least we'll catch a few fish. We'll have a bit of an update. It's a bit of a cold breeze this morning. It wasn't supposed to be blowing at all. It's a bit of a chilly breeze. But it's an easterly, coming from that way. But I'm not going to stand out here in a cold wind, I have to say, if this keeps on. Certainly a lot of little chublets hanging around the top of that cover. I say, hopefully, doing a bit of exercise today. Just a little bit of gentle exercise will, I mean, I can sleep tonight. Lots of stuff I fancy doing over the next few months. Loads of swims in mind. Got loads of stretches of river in mind that I want to have a go at. I'm actually got another session booked on the Y for too long. Week or so's time. I've got a week away in Falmouth, so we're doing a bit of sea fishing down there. Quite looking forward to getting after the mullet again. Went a couple of years ago down there, so we're having another go, another family holiday down there. Certainly looking forward to it. Going to be quite chilled, so we'll get some fishing while we're there. I certainly think I need to be close to that tree. Every time I come more than about 2 metres off that tree, the bait is just getting mullered. My smaller fish, not that we caught anything bigger at the moment, but hopefully we will. Trying to skim these fish in quite quickly before Mr. Pikey gets them. Oh, the roach is getting a bit bigger. I've been fishing this fallen willow a few times lately, but purely because it's quite new, as in newly fallen down, and also it's not going to be around for long. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but the root ball is actually in the river. So the first time we get a decent flood, it's going to be gone. Well, we're having some nice fish. I was going to say it's got to be a chublet from up there. No monsters, but we're catching some fish. It'd be nice to be able to fish some mashed bread over there. Bread on the hook. I say I can't think of a way to deliver the mashed bread that far. I certainly can't throw it that far. Oh, that felt a better fish. That's quite annoying. It wasn't big, but it was better. I think it was the biggest, would have been the biggest one of the day, that's for sure. Well, a fish certainly up for a feed, that's for sure. I was a bit concerned with the cold rain we had yesterday. It's been quite warm up until yesterday, yeah. And then it rained and it was cold. I just thought, could well kill things for a few days. But it certainly hasn't. I say we're not catching anything big, but we're certainly fulfilling the brief, which was go out, do a bit of exercise, catch some fish. I did think of bringing the ledger rod. I just thought, if I do that, I'm just going to sit here, not do anything effectively. I'm just going to sit around. Watching a quiver tip for a couple of hours. So I discounted that as an option, really. As I say, we will do that. We'll perhaps do it into dark. Well, by a chuck at the moment. We're now catching some reasonable roach as well. This Feels like a roach. Looks like a roach. It is a roach. Oh, some nice roach. Talking of roach, that the one the pike grabbed has expired. It's just down here. I think I'll scoop him up, take him home and put him in the freezer. We'll use him as zander bait. Once again, I'll stick all the details of all the gear I'm using down below. You can go and have a look. I'm fishing relatively heavy, purely for the purposes of steering decent fish away from that snag, as I say. That feels a bit better, does it? No, just a roach. Reasonable one. I think we've got to put the net under yet quite. Oh, it's a rudd. Caught a rudd the first time we fished here, and I've had one since. That's a lovely fish. What's this? Something that's pulling back a bit. Come on, get out of there before that pike turns up. Ah, slightly better chub. Well, perhaps we're getting somewhere with the chub. Well, we're putting a nice little catch together. Beautiful bites. Absolutely beautiful. Keep thinking that's a bigger fish. That's definitely a bigger fish. Nope. Wonder whether it might be worth changing the shot in and getting the bait down a bit quicker. You know, I've not put any grain bait or anything in. So I'm not trying to get to fish up near the bottom or on the bottom. The whole point is that the fish come up in the water. Clearly a lot of bleak about. I've fished this willow a few times though, it does seem different every single time. It's almost like the fish are not really resident there, they're more sort of transient and they'll come and go. You'd think they'd just be happy to be there and be in all that cover. Perhaps they are, perhaps they're right at the back. It's pretty deep in the edge, certainly on this side. Down here where they keep theirs, it's like 6 foot deep. So there's certainly plenty of depth for them to be right tucked in, tucked out of the way. And perhaps not even know that the maggots are here. Alright. Once again, I thought that was a bit bigger. It is not. Well, a nicer roach. Certainly can't complain when you're catching fish of that stamp, can you? We're certainly not set up for it. We've got proper specie wag on. It's probably best part of 10 mil in diameter. It's not at all sensitive. I was thinking of putting a slightly more sensitive one on, to be honest. Or certainly a slightly thinner diameter one, so it should show the bites up better, but we still need the weight to get the distance, really. Normally fish here with a 9 BB. I've got a 5 AAA on, which is effectively a 10 BB today. So not really a lot of difference in the weight, just in the sensitivity. It's just nice having that thicker tip running past that cover. You can just see the float a lot better. It's quite tricky to see going through that reflection of that tree. I'm going to try and leather some bait in, I think, for 10 or 15 minutes, just see if we can get some interest off some bigger fish. I've been sort of treading softly with the bait so far. I think I'm going to start getting some in. See if we can't get some interest. They certainly seem to be hungry, the fish, so I'm not too concerned about overfeeding them. There certainly seems to be lots and lots of small fish about as well. So again, that makes me think I haven't got to worry about overfeeding them because we're not targeting the small ones. Certainly what we're doing at the moment is working. We're getting loads of bites, but not caught anything above about 6 ounces so far. And that's not a massive surprise on the Avon when it's got 4 foot of clarity. I did think perhaps being overcast, the light levels being low, and a bit of water on, I did think perhaps we might do something. To be honest, the bites have slowed right up as well. I upped the feed and the bites have slowed up, so clearly I'm filling up the small fish. That's kind of the plan, to get through to the big uns, but I don't seem to be getting any big uns. Come on, we'll keep at it, we'll keep the faith. Even though we've, as I say, the bites really stopped, we'll still keep feeding. And hope that we can get a few chub interested. There's a bite. Well, that felt small and it suddenly feels a lot bigger. Alright, what's this? Grabbed by a pike. Wow. This could be the fish we've been waiting for. Felt small at first. What on earth is this? It has. It's another fish been grabbed by a pike. Oh dear. I think we should have brought the pike gear out this morning. Little jack that again grabbed whatever we had on. Well, whatever we've still got on. I'm sure he's going to let go of it. He's not hooked. I'm sure he's going to let go of it, but he doesn't want to at the moment. There we go. Oh, I thought we were in something a bit bigger then. He's had the fish and bitten us off. Well, feels a little better. It's probably a perch, where it's jagging away. Is it the first perch of the day? It is. Not bad, huh? I think we'll put the net under him. Just about. Well, it's probably the biggest fish of the day. He's no monster at all, but it's probably the biggest fish of the day. So I was going to go home, to be honest. I've just about had enough really, and the bites have dried up. I've managed to feed off the small fish, I think, pretty much. But we're not really getting many bites. He says and then gets a bite. But I'm just getting burgled a little bit, and I was just wondering what was going on. So we're still catching the odd fish, but like I say, I did up the feed massively to see if we could get through some bigger fish and feed off the smaller fish, and we have fed off the smaller fish, as I say, but we haven't got through to anything bigger at all. So I'm not going to give it much longer. We'll perhaps give it another 5 minutes. I think I've probably had enough now. I think my body's had enough anyway, certainly. Just amazed how many times this float has run past that tree and I've not had a bite. Off anything substantial, I mean. I find it quite surprising. I can't believe there's no decent fish in there. I'm just looking at the water temperature as well. It's 16 degrees, so it hasn't really moved much. Thought yesterday's rain would have put it down, but I think it was in the 16s about a week and a half ago when I checked it. Alright. This feels a bit better. What's this? That sunk through right in the middle of the tree. Feels a bit perchy. Not beating me up, but oh, it looks like a reasonable perch. Well, he's no monster, but he'll do. Well, clearly a few perch down there now. Right, change the shotting pattern just to get the bait down a bit faster. I'm fishing about 8 foot now, so we'll see if that makes any difference. We'll have another 5 minutes, I think, and then we'll call it. With this much depth on, I'm sort of about at the limit of this 12-foot rod. Could really do my 14-footer to fish deep in here. We're not dragging under. Aye, aye. Is that a bite? It is a bite. Not dragging under. What we got this time? Oh, nice roach. Biggest roach of the day, certainly. That's a beauty. Absolute cracker. That's not one. I got. Well, we're catching a few now. A few that are pulling back as well. Feels like a perch again. Pulling back though. Well, we've suddenly found a perch. I could have probably lifted him, to be honest, but put the net under him. How interesting. As I say, I've been feeding for an hour and 3/4 now, something like that. Perhaps 2 hours, getting on full. And these perch have not moved up in the water. I'm catching them 8 foot down. This shows you that they've not moved up to intercept these maggots. And the maggots are definitely getting through because I've fed these smaller fish off. Hardly getting any bites off smaller fish now. There you go. It's going through a bit deeper. All of a sudden, I'm getting a few perch. I think this is another one. Feels a nice fish as well. Certainly pulling back. Fantastic. Feels a reasonable fish. There's a stripey. And it looks a reasonable one as well. That's cracking. Well, that's certainly fish of the day. Oh, well, that certainly made it worth coming out. Cracking. No monster, but certainly having a few perch now. There we go. I'll have a look at him over the net. Cracking. Well, every time I keep thinking I'm going to go home and catch something nice. As you can probably see, what I've done with the shotting is I've put the bulk of the shot now, rather than being under the float, put the bulk of the shot halfway down about 4 foot down. And then I've strung out the number 6s that were down the line. I've strung them out in the bottom half. So now the bait's getting right down quite quickly, halfway through the water, or at least halfway through. And then it's just falling the bottom half slowly. And we're getting a perch chuck now. A reasonable perch as well from the feel of it. Again, what's this cracking? Should have perhaps cottoned onto it a bit earlier, but my excuse is my brain's not working properly. I've been poorly. It's not as big as the last one. But we're putting a nice net of fish together now, I think. So it feels like it. And I'm definitely going to come over here with a maggot feeder and some worms. I wish I bought some worms now, to be honest. When I was thinking last night about coming this morning, I did think, I'll take some worms with me. And as I say, because my brain's not working, I've walked past them. Walked out the door. I could nip home and get them, but like I say, I'm not going to give it too much longer now. Despite the fact that we're catching. Not unless it starts to go crazy. In which case, I'll go and get a jumper. I'm not very warm. Well, we are absolutely flying again now. Totally the wrong setup for this. Like I say, if I was going to stay, I'd nip and get my 14-foot rod. I could stay, but I don't think I'm going to push it. Like I say, I've had a temperature. I've been not only, being sick and the rest of it, but, I've had a temperature. I've been proper grotty. I do not want to make myself worse, so a couple of hours is certainly enough in this temperature. I think it's only about 15 degrees. I've got my thermals on, which is why I haven't got a jacket on, because I don't like float fishing with a jacket on. I find them quite restrictive. Right. Oh, blimey. It's that one. Alright, this is a better fish. This feels like a better perch. Again, it's not beasting me. Feels like a half decent fish. Oh, we've had some nice strippers now. I'd say no massive ones, but a nice catch of stripers. It is autumn after all. Well, that's strange. I'm having no perch at all. To getting plenty of them now. This feels like another one. No, it's a roach. Come on, get out of there quick. God, there's a roach. Cracking. I'm not worrying too much about trying to get over by the tree anymore either. Firstly, it's very tricky trying to get that far. Now I've gone deeper, changed the shotting pattern. Also, the fish seem to be hanging around in the middle of the river, to be honest, because we're catching firstly roach and perch, and they seem to be happy out in the middle of the river, but albeit down deeper. Oh, the cracking roach, look. We're getting some cracking roach. Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, they don't seem to mind being out in the river too much, but also we've been feeding for a couple of hours now, as I say. I've been trying to feed over to the tree. The majority of the bait is falling couple of metres, 3 metres short of that tree, which is just about the sort of start of the middle of the river, what you call the middle of the river. Oh, there's another nice fish. Another perch by the jag. Ah, it's not as big as I thought he was. Certainly a netter. Come on. Cool. Well, let's change the shotting pattern again a little bit. So we're getting a few tangles. We're into another fish. Come on, quick. Well, that pike gets you. Well, I was just thinking perhaps it's time to go home, but once again, as soon as I think that, I catch something nice. Something is telling me to stay. I am going to give it another 5 minutes though. We've been here 3 hours. I was only intending on staying about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So, 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops. It's gone very quiet though, to be honest. Well, nothing doing by the looks of it on that run through. It's run through at the pace of the water, so I don't think we're dragging bottom there. So we're certainly, the bottom is somewhere between 9 and 10 foot in here. Certainly in the middle of the river. Right, I think that is that. As I say, I need to go home, I think, for my long-term benefit. But that's been very, very enjoyable, and we'll have a quick look what we've caught before we go. But yeah, really enjoyed that. Well, guys, I just decanted these into landing net to have a look what we've caught. No huge fish today, but certainly a nice catch of roach, mainly roach and perch with some chublets in, like this one. Come back here. We don't mess these fish around too much, but I think that's the biggest perch. Yeah, that's been cracking. Caught plenty of fish in the end, as you can see. Right, as I say, not going to mess them about, we'll get them back. Right, that's them safely back. Really enjoyed that. It's been nice to get out. As I say, I've had a rough few days, so it's certainly nice to get out. And hopefully it's warmed me out a bit. It feels like it has. So hopefully I'll sleep a bit better tonight. But yeah, it's been nice to get out and just take advantage of these conditions. Nothing huge, but we've certainly learnt something again down here. I learned to bring my lighter waggler setup next time, definitely. Just want to say a big thank you as well to a chap called Steve. Steve has signed up to become a patron of the channel through Patreon. So big thanks, Steve. Thanks for signing up. Thanks for your support. It's really, really much appreciated. So assuming I feel okay, I think I'll get out again Saturday morning. As I mentioned, we'll come out and do a bit, perhaps first light, try and connect with some bigger fish. I think that's the plan. We'll perhaps get the mash bread out as well, and perhaps take the maggots with us too. Bit of a two-pronged approach, but for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Bit of an update and some fish as well. Tight lines when you get out there yourselves. Many thanks to the channel patrons for your fantastic support, and I'll see you all again very soon.